How will Apple's iPhone 12 affect their stock price for the long term? Here's my 2 cents on why I think this was a once-in-a-generation presentation and why it's even more compelling to hold Apple for the next decade. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? My name is Matthew. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're talking all things iPhone 12 and also Apple stock, because after all, we are an investing channel. Now, please keep in mind this is an initial reaction video. I just wanted to get this out as quickly as possible to all of you. These are just some of the thoughts that were running through my mind as I was watching this presentation and making my sandwich for lunch. Anyways, give me the format. First, a brief overview of the iPhone itself, and that will take about 30 seconds. Second, 5G, MagSafe, gaming, LiDAR in their camera, and how these could potentially affect Apple's business through iPhone demand and use cases. Then third, do I think this iPhone will dramatically affect Apple stock, and what I think has to happen for it to do so. No time wasted, let's get right into part one, a really quick description of the iPhone 12s, plural. Apple just released their iPhone 12, the 12 mini, the 12 Pro, and the Pro Max. Their new A14 chip is the most powerful chip in smartphones today, and it's manufactured by TSM, Taiwan Semiconductor Manufacturing. The only reason I bring this up is because TSM is definitely an interesting stock that's worth looking into. The 12 Pro Max has the largest iPhone display ever, and they all come with new ceramic shield glass that 4x'd the phone's drop performance. And they brought back the boxier look, and personally, I like it a lot. I also really like this blue color, so if anyone wants to hit up my P.O. box. So that's the basics, but what about the stuff that will really impact Apple's earnings and then their stock price? I'm talking about part 2, 5G, MagSafe, gaming, LiDAR, and their camera. Now, 5G is obviously the biggest new feature about these iPhones, and to keep this video simple, as consumers, we just need to know a couple things here. One, 5G is expected to be 100 times faster than 4G, which we currently use. For example, that Netflix download that used to take a few minutes will probably now take a few seconds. And second, there is virtually no lag or latency when requesting data from a network. This is also huge for VR and AR, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. And rather than getting too in-depth on 5G and its technical stuff, we're going to move on to the other features and talk about how 5G ties into those new use cases. But before that, stay with me here, we're going to touch on MagSafe.
Any MagSafe accessory can simply snap onto the back of iPhone. So this is really great. We're enabling a whole new ecosystem for MagSafe, starting with all new cases for iPhone 12. Silicone, clear, leather, which have magnets to snap on and off, and they're far easier to use. And you can use other MagSafe accessories on top of the cases, like the MagSafe charger. And there's a MagSafe wallet. It just snaps to the back of iPhone and also works on top of MagSafe cases. The leather sleeve uses MagSafe sensors to identify when iPhone is inside to reveal the clock. We also developed the new MagSafe Duo charger for your iPhone and Apple Watch. You can charge both devices with one charger, and it folds up easily for when you travel. And these are just the accessories we are introducing. Belkin is already working on a couple of new accessories, a car mount and a multi-charger dock. We can't wait to see the innovative ways that others will use MagSafe, creating a robust and ever-expanding ecosystem.
When I was watching this get revealed, I was getting more and more excited for Apple's business because of those last few words that you just heard, an ever-expanding and robust ecosystem. That is part of why Apple has been such a cash cow, their ecosystem. It's all based on the ecosystem, and MagSafe and all of those extra accessories are going to be a huge addition. Alright, now let's talk about gaming, and this is where we loop 5G back into the picture. Thanks to iPhone's new industry-leading chip and their new 5G capabilities, you can now play the world's most popular video game, League of Legends, on the iPhone flawlessly. Gameplay at this level would not have been possible before the iPhone 12. Now here's the business side of things. The gaming industry is already massive, and it's a trend I've touched upon before in this channel. Within just a few years, it is projected to surpass $200 billion in revenue by 2023. These new iPhone capabilities are just another way for Apple to get a slice of this pie. And we haven't even touched on the VR and AR industry yet, which also has been taken to new levels by the iPhone 12. The augmented reality and virtual reality market is expected to reach $571 billion by 2025, which is a massive 63% compound annual growth rate. But that's our next topic, LiDAR. For the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max, there is a LiDAR scanner. Not only is this incredible for consumers, but just using an iPhone with the iPhone 12 has actually become more beneficial and cost-effective for businesses. By combining the iPhone's new LiDAR and 5G capabilities, the iPhone 12 Pro and Pro Max can reportedly save companies tens of thousands of dollars and weeks of lead time. Who knows, for some companies this could even become a standard tool. Just like how when new employees or interns get laptops, maybe companies will eventually start sending you a new iPhone 12 Pro on your first day at the job. Lastly, their cameras are also insane. As a nature and landscape photographer myself, I was very excited to see this. However, compared to the other factors we talked about today, I think this one will have the least business impact because photographers will probably just stick to DSLRs if they have a choice. But iPhones could definitely be picked up by more independent filmmakers, and iPhones could become mainstream filming equipment. But I'm not yet ready to make any investments based on this idea. Now, we can see all these improvements, we can see why maybe iPhone demand would pick up, but is Apple still at a good valuation, and what would need to happen for iPhone demand to be reflected in the stock price, in my opinion? Let's talk about exactly that in part 3, Apple stock, what needs to happen for the iPhone. Let's first take a look at Apple's valuation. Here's the approximate PE ratios of FANG if we replace Netflix with Microsoft as of October 12, 2020, and Apple's right about in the middle of the pack. In fact, it has a lower PE ratio than Microsoft, and while all 5 of these may be somewhat overvalued to an extent, relative to one another, Apple is not too far ahead of itself, and I certainly don't think Microsoft has a catalyst as large as Apple coming soon. Of course, a lot more goes into valuing a company than just the PE ratio, but at first glance, is Apple really that overvalued? Maybe it is a little bit, but for me, a lot less than I expected. From my viewpoint, it's not the most attractive in terms of value, but would I be upset if I was told I had to invest in Apple today? Definitely not. And just for fun, I'll show you that analyst price targets range from 150 at their highest to a median of 126.25 per share and the lowest at $80 per share for the next 12 months. But personally, I don't pay too much attention to these. So now on to what I think has to happen for the iPhone to really help Apple stock. First, of course, is consumer adoption. A Piper Sandler survey of 1,000 people found that only 10% plan on upgrading to the 5G iPhone this year. Aside from the fact that I don't think 1,000 people is a big enough sample size, I think that 10% estimate is going to be blown out of the water in reality. Of those planning to pick up a new 5G model, only half, meaning 5%, were inspired by the 5G feature. I don't think people yet realize how much better 5G will be. It'll be like having the speed of your desktop at your fingertips, wherever you go. And I think once the early adopters get the iPhone in their hands and people start seeing just how powerful it is, adoption will ramp up very quickly and iPhone demand will be very strong. Now, the second thing that needs to happen for iPhone, in my opinion, is the economic situation. We need to check, do people have enough money to spend on a new iPhone? And so I think the most obvious question here is, will we get more fiscal support in the form of stimulus and unemployment benefits? If we can get more fiscal aid within the next month, given that the iPhone pre-orders start on November 6th, I think the launch will actually go very well, and that might sound silly, but don't forget about Q2. Although people should be saving their stimulus and unemployment money, we saw Apple's Q2 revenue beat Wall Street's estimates by over $7 billion. iPhone revenue was up from its fiscal third quarter in 2019, and so was its wearables revenue. Amazon's Q2 earnings can also support the fact that stimulus and unemployment benefits was going in one door and out the other of households. And one huge thing that Apple has that most companies do not have, and none have to this extent, is their brand loyalty. If Apple comes out with something new, we all have to have it. And if Supreme can sell a clay brick for $30 and have it resell for $150, then I think Apple can sell a truly revolutionary iPhone. I mean, if you think about it, it's just like 5 Supreme bricks for one iPhone. That's a steal. So if the iPhone sees strong consumer adoption and even better, a boost from fiscal aid, then I think this could be the kickstart to a truly generational product that of course would be reflected in Apple's earnings and thus their stock price. If you found any value in this video, and I hope you did, please make sure to hit that like button, subscribe, and check out our quote of the day. You might just learn something. Make sure to follow me on Instagram for daily posts about my portfolio, stocks I'm watching, and all that good stuff. And if you're still watching at this point in the video, you are the real MVP. Don't forget your peace, and thank you.